experiment. So let us go quickly through within subject design. So in within subject design, there is only one group, and this one group, which consists of individuals, experienced all the conditions. एटलीस्ट हमारे पास दो कंडीशंस होते हैं, लेकिन अगर हमारे पास कंडीशंस ज़्यादा भी हुई, लेट्स सपोज in the previous example we discussed two exercise, we may have three different exercise or we may have 5 or 6 different exercise. तो उस केस में conditions ज़्यादा हो गए, but we involves all the individuals in all the conditions and therefore this would be called within subject design. अगर हमारे पास ऐसी सिचुएशन हो कि जहाँ पे दो ग्रुप्स बनाने से दोनों ग्रुप्स इक्विवेलेंट नहीं हो सकते, उनमें काफ़ी ड्रास्टिक डिफरेंट आ सकता है, तो उस वजह से फिर हम एक ही ग्रुप लेते हैं, because the same individual is participant in both the conditions or in all the conditions which are in our experiment. So this design is also called repeated measure design. Repeated measure इसीलिए कि हमारे पास एक ही ग्रुप है और हम तमाम इंडिविजुअल्स को उन तमाम कंडीशंस से लेके गुजार रहे हैं. Therefore we are repeating the conditions with all the individuals, and therefore it is called a repeated measure design. So if we look at this figure, so the within subject design में हमारे पास जितनी भी सैंपल है, हम उन तमाम सैंपल को एक ग्रुप कंसिडर कर लेते हैं and we pass them through first condition, which is our treatment A, and again the same sample is passed through the second condition, which is treatment B, and this design is called within subject because all the comparison is within the group that is involved. In comparison, the between subject design में हम क्या करते हैं कि we have the same sample and then we take the sample and divide it into two groups. So we have one group of individuals and we have the second group of individuals. The first group is given the treatment A and the second group is given the treatment B, and then we compare the result. Remember that treatment can also be the control group in which no treatment is given. If I take another example, suppose we are interested in finding the effect of watching violent cartoons on the behavior of children. So how do we do the experiment? So we take one group of individuals or one group of children. So we engage them in watching violent cartoons and then we note their behavior. And after this, we show them the non-violent cartoons and again we note the behavior. And then we see the difference in the two behaviors. So whatever would be the difference in the two behaviors would be the effect due to watching the cartoons. So we can also engage the children in first of all watching the non-violent cartoons and noting their behavior, and then we can show them the violent cartoons and then we find the difference in the behavior. What are the uses or advantage of within subject design? So there are less number of subjects or individuals involved. क्योंकि इसमें हमारे पास सिर्फ एक ही ग्रुप है, तो अगर हमारे पास एक ऐसा ग्रुप जिसमें हमारे पास लेट्स सपोज 40 स्टूडेंट्स हैं, तो हम उन 40 स्टूडेंट्स को पहले एक ट्रीटमेंट से गुजारते हैं and then we involve them in the second treatment. Therefore we have this less number of individuals which we are involving and we are doing the experiment. लेकिन अगर इसके कंपैरिजन में हमारे पास बिटवीन सब्जेक्ट डिज़ाइन होता और हमने 40 के साथ एक ट्रीटमेंट करनी है, again we would involve another 40 to make the second group. So this means that between subjects में हमारे पास चूँकि दो ग्रुप्स होते हैं, इसलिए वहाँ पे हमारे पास ज़्यादा पार्टिसिपेंट्स दरकार हैं. Second, we use less number of volunteers when the sample is hardly available. तो ये हमारे पास काफ़ी यूज़फुल है जहाँ पे हमारे पास ऐसा सैंपल है या हमारी रिसर्च ऐसी है कि वहाँ पे हमारे पास जो इंडिविजुअल्स हैं they are very few and it is very difficult to find the required individuals. For example, in a research on the top players or on the top politicians or people which have rare diseases or with some particular abilities. So because we have less number of such individuals, therefore within subject design would be best in such situation. The third one is that it saves energy, the resources and our cost. Because we are dealing with less number of individuals, हमारे पास सिर्फ एक ही ग्रुप है, इसलिए उनके साथ काम करते हुए हमारे पास ज़्यादा एनर्जी की ज़रूरत नहीं है. We can save our energy, we can save the resources and it is also less costly. The last one is that there is no problem of non-equivalent groups, because when we form two groups, so there is always a risk or a threat that the two groups are not equivalent, because the individuals are different in both the groups. So they may perform differently on the two tasks. But when we have only one group, then the same participants are in both the groups. Therefore, we do not have the problem of non-equivalent group, because the same individual is available in all the conditions, and therefore it solves the problem due to the individual difference. What are the limitations of within subject design? So one limitation is that there is a carryover effect. So while we are doing the experiment with one group, so when the participant experience one condition and then we take them towards the second condition, so they may carry the effect from the first condition to the second condition, and therefore affecting their score or performance in the second condition. So I'm giving an example from the previous example where we involve the student firstly in yoga and then in jogging. So it may be that when we were involving them in yoga, so the effect that was produced because of yoga may be carried over to the second stage when they were involved in jogging, and therefore their performance after jogging is also affected. So we may be thinking that the effect was produced because of jogging, rather it was produced because of the yoga, which was the carry over effect. तो ये हमेशा हमारे पास एक्सपेरिमेंट्स में ऐसा हो जाता है कि जो लर्निंग एक इंडिविजुअल फर्स्ट कंडीशन में कर लेता है, तो वो इफ़ेक्ट्स उसके वो दूसरे कंडीशन में कैरी ओवर कर लेता है, और वहाँ पे उसकी वजह से उसकी परफॉर्मेंस इफ़ेक्ट हो जाती है। और जब उसकी परफॉर्मेंस वहाँ पे इफ़ेक्ट होती है, तो वी कैन नॉट लिंक दैट इफ़ेक्ट with the second condition. It may be linked with the first condition, and therefore our results would not be reliable. The next limitation is that the performance on subsequent tests can also be affected due to practice or due to getting skill. कि जब हम participants को एक condition से गुजारते हैं and then they go towards the second conditions, so their performance on the second test can be improved because they are now in practice, and because of the practice or due to getting skill in involving different conditions, so their performance may be affected in the following test on the subsequent test. The third limitation is that because we are passing the individuals to different conditions, first of all they pass through condition A, then we involve them in condition B, और अगर किसी experiments में हमारे पास ज़्यादा conditions हुए, so while we are taking them through these different conditions, so it may be possible that the participants become exhausted, they become tired, and they also become bored or less interested in doing or in participating in the later treatments, and therefore their performance on the later treatments may be affected. So if we come to our previous example of jogging and yoga, so if we involve the students in jogging first and then we turn them towards yoga, so because of participating in jogging, they may have been tired or exhausted, and therefore their performance on the yoga may be affected.